Something unbelievable just went down. Blueface mother, Carlisa, has officially gone nuclear, not just throwing shade, but straight up detonating a bomb on Chrisean Rock's reputation. She is calling her a walking PDF file, saying she has completely lost control, and what's worse, she is accusing Chrisean of doing things that have fans absolutely horrified. But before we dive into this chaos, let us rewind, because what started as just another celebrity romance has now spiraled into a story that feels more like a crime scene of emotions than a love story. It all began when Chrisean proudly revealed her new man online, a smiling, tattooed teen, looking fresh out of high school. At first, everyone thought, okay, maybe she's moving on, maybe she's finally happy. But then, the internet started digging. And what they found sent shockwaves through social media. Reports began circulating that this new guy, known online as Top 33K, might only be 18 years old. Barely legal. Barely old enough to vote. And suddenly, the timeline turned into a battlefield of comments calling Chrisean a walking red flag, a danger zone in human form, and yes, a PDF file. Carlisa, being who she is, did not stay silent. She jumped right into the chaos like gasoline to fire. According to her, this relationship is not just inappropriate, it is deeply disturbing. Now, here is where things take a darker turn. Rumors began flying that Chrisean and her new boyfriend were allegedly being intimate with the bedroom door wide open, while her toddler, Junior, was in the same room. Yes. You heard that correctly. Fans were stunned. Tweets started rolling in like waves of outrage. This is beyond reckless. Someone needs to step in. This is not parenting, this is chaos. And then, the whispers got louder. Some people claimed this was not a one-time thing. That this was a pattern. Suddenly, Chrisean was not just trending, she was under digital investigation. Screenshots, clips, half-truths, and reactions flooded every social platform imaginable. Now here's the real twist in this emotional roller coaster. Carlisa says she's just trying to protect her grandson. But many people think this might not be about protection at all. Some fans believe she is doing what she always does, using Chrisean's chaos for attention. After all, Carlisa has a history of jumping into every Blueface-related drama like it is her personal season of reality TV. She said she was grateful her son no longer had to deal with Chrisean. But if you listen closely, that comment sounded less like concern, and more like satisfaction. So now, the big question is echoing across every comment section: is Carlisa fighting for Junior's safety, or just fighting for clout? On one side, people are furious at Chrisean, calling her unfit and unstable. On the other, there are those saying Carlisa is exploiting this situation for attention, making an already fragile story worse. Whatever the truth is, this entire scandal has turned into an emotional war zone. A mother against a mother. A child caught in the middle. And an audience unable to look away. This is not just another social media fight. This is the kind of situation that exposes how quickly love, fame, and anger can collide, until everyone involved ends up bleeding in public. Because in this world of likes, lives, and lies, nothing stays private for long. So here's where the story starts getting darker. Yes, Junior might be too young to understand what's going on, but that does not make it right. What is being alleged is the kind of behavior that makes the internet stop and collectively gasp. People are calling it weird, disturbing, and honestly, beyond comprehension. And the saddest part? When it comes to Chrisean Rock, this kind of chaos is not exactly shocking anymore. Because the whispers have been there for weeks. Claims that she's not treating her son, Junior, the way a mother should. And guess who's been the loudest voice in that storm? Her most recent ex, Hood Trophy Bino. Their breakup was public and ugly. Bino said he was done, not because of cheating, not because of fame, but because Chrisean refused to remove her tattoo of Blueface. That ink was a ghost of her past, haunting every new relationship she entered. But when the relationship ended, Bino did not just walk away quietly. He started unloading everything on social media. Post after post, live after live, painting Chrisean as a woman spiraling out of control. He accused her of being a bad mother, a toxic partner, and someone who needs to get her life together before it's too late. His exact words? I had to leave because it was messing with my head. She needs to get Junior some proper therapy and actually be a mom. Everyone wants to hide it, but she's not okay. And it did not stop there. He accused her of straight-up neglect, saying Junior got hurt, and she just brushed it off. But then came the detail that made even her fans go silent. Bino claimed the reason Junior fell off the bed that day was because Chrisean was trying to get intimate with him, right there, while Junior was in the room. That one statement changed the entire tone of the conversation. What had started as gossip suddenly felt like a public intervention. That's not just messy, one fan tweeted, that's heartbreaking. If this is true, she needs serious help, not another relationship. Bino said he was so uncomfortable that he grabbed his stuff and walked out of the hotel room, leaving her there. And when you hear that, it starts to make the new rumor sound less far-fetched. Because now, people are wondering if the same thing is happening with her new boyfriend. 3. Now here's where things get even more confusing, and the math is not matching. Bino and Chrisean broke up less than 2 weeks ago. But now, she's out here saying she and 3 have been together for a while and just decided to go public. So, either she was cheating or she's lying. And no one can quite tell which one it is. Fans, of course, started digging. And what they found is that this isn't new behavior, it's a pattern. Chrisean has a long history of jumping from one man to another with lightning speed. Remember back in 2023, when she and Blueface had one of their 100 breakups? She immediately went public with rapper Lil Mayo, flaunting a new relationship like it was a trophy. She even covered up her Jonathan's P tattoo, a tribute to Blueface, and replaced it with Mayabu's P. The internet lost its mind. Blueface even tweeted, "The duo we didn't know we needed. Y'all should make it official for real." Then came a song, a diss track that felt like a breakup letter set to a beat. "Gave birth to my kid but I hate his father. I used to mess with blues, now I mess with ones." But guess what? That new man she flaunted, Lil Mayo, had just turned 18. Sound familiar? That relationship didn't last long either. Because within weeks, she ran right back to Blueface. And when that imploded again, she found herself with yet another rapper, K-Suave, and rumors spread that she was getting a tattoo for him too. Yes, another tattoo. Another man. Another repeat of the same story. Blueface, watching from the sidelines, finally snapped. He posted online, "Being tatted on a 305 is not a flex. You literally messed with Cardi B's husband a couple weeks ago. I'm tired of men looking at me while they're messing with you." The post went viral instantly, and people were torn between disbelief and exhaustion. It was chaos on every timeline, the kind of chaos that feels like her brand now. Because every time the world thinks Chrisean Rock is about to calm down, she finds a new way to set her own reputation on fire. It's almost like she doesn't want peace. Like drama is the only language she speaks fluently. And now, with Blueface behind bars, and every one of her past flings speaking out, the question everyone is asking is Chrisean really alone, or is she already writing the next chapter of her own downfall? Let's be brutally honest, Chrisean Rock does not seem like the kind of person who knows how to be alone. She doesn't do silence. She doesn't do solitude. Every time one man walks out the door, another one is already walking in. It's almost like she has an emotional revolving door, spinning fast enough to blur the faces of every new lover that passes through. Because for Chrisean, the quiet is terrifying. Silence forces her to sit with her own thoughts, and maybe that's the one thing she cannot stand. So, no surprise here, she's dating again. But this time, the name that dropped had everyone doing a double take, Titan Newton, a college basketball player with an NCAA jersey and a baby face. At first, everyone thought it was just another rumor floating through the gossip mill. But then, the pictures came out, the hand-holding, the whispered laughter during live streams, the kisses that made the comment section explode. They weren't hiding anything. They were showing it off like a prize. And Titan? He was not exactly running from the attention. If anything, he was loving it. Every like, every repost, every headline, it was all adding up to clout he never had before. But once fans started looking deeper, things started to get uncomfortable again. Titan wasn't 18, not this time. He was 19. Still young. Still a teenager. And that small difference didn't make anyone feel better. Because at the end of the day, Chrisean is a grown woman, with fame, power, and experience. And the question hanging in the air was, why does she keep choosing men who are barely legal? It's not just trolling anymore, people are genuinely worried. They're saying what many have been afraid to say out loud, that Chrisean seems drawn to young men because she's chasing something she lost a long time ago, some version of love, validation, or innocence that she never got to feel herself. But instead of reflecting, she doubles down. Every time fans question her, she fires back with another photo, another live stream, another kiss on camera. It's like she's addicted to the attention, good or bad, as long as people are watching. Because in her world, silence isn't peace. Silence is death. Now, fast forward to today, and somehow, it has gotten even messier. The internet caught wind that her latest boyfriend might still be a teenager. So what does Chrisean do? She tries to rewrite the story. Suddenly, she's saying, he's not 18, he's 20. 20. As if that 2-year gap magically erases the controversy. As if numbers could wash away the discomfort. Because saying 20 sounds better. It's easier to swallow. It makes her look less predatory, less desperate. But everyone online can see through it. Deep down, they know what's really going on. And there's one person who refuses to let her bury the truth, Carlisa, Blueface's mother. Carlisa has made it her full-time job to be Chrisean's shadow, the uninvited narrator of her every mistake. She watches, she waits, and the moment Chrisean tries to move in silence, Carlisa hits that "Go Live" button. Every time Chrisean tries to hide a rumor, Carlisa is right there like, nope, not today. And her live streams? They've practically turned into their own reality show. She talks. She cries. She rants. She accuses. Nothing is off limits. She's accused Chrisean of causing Blueface's son, Jr., to develop issues. She's even suggested, without evidence, that Chrisean might have had something to do with the death of Blueface's ex, Ronnie. Let that sink in. That's the level of accusation we're dealing with here, no receipts, no proof, just pure, unfiltered emotion and fury. And the internet? It went wild. Half the viewers called Carlisa obsessed, a bitter mother who cannot let go. The other half crowned her the truth teller, the only one brave enough to expose Chrisean's darkness. But here's the part nobody wants to admit: Carlisa and Chrisean are two sides of the same coin. They both crave attention. They both want to be heard. And they both thrive on confrontation. Every fight between them turns into a viral moment. Every live stream becomes a circus act. And the internet? It eats it up like a soap opera. Because at this point, nobody's watching to find out who's right or wrong, they're just watching for the next explosion. And as we scroll through the chaos, laughing, arguing, or pretending not to care, you have to ask yourself, what's really happening behind all that noise? Is Chrisean acting out because she's broken inside? Is Carlisa projecting her own pain? Or are they both just crying out for the kind of validation they never received? Because this isn't normal. None of it is. Watching one woman bounce from one barely grown man to another, defending herself with half-truths, while another woman, her ex's mother, dedicates her life to tearing her down, it's not entertainment anymore. It's tragedy disguised as content. And the worst part? They both seem to enjoy it. Because for them, chaos is home. It's the only language they both understand. You can see it every time Chrisean posts. One day she's crying on Instagram live about wanting peace. The next, she's twerking to a diss track aimed directly at Blueface's mom. Then, as if nothing happened, she's posting photos with her new man, captioned, "My peace." But we all know how this movie ends. It always ends the same way, with heartbreak, tears, and another live stream filled with screaming. And while her fans rush to defend her, saying, she's just young, or she's healing, at some point, healing stops being an accident. It becomes a choice. Because you cannot keep breaking things and calling it love. You cannot keep dragging people into your pain and calling it destiny. At some point, the chaos stops being the villain, and becomes who you are. There is one thing you can always count on when it comes to this saga: Carlisa never misses a beat. She is always there. Watching. Waiting. Reloading. Every time Chrisean posts something remotely suspicious, Carlisa is the first to strike. A screenshot here. A cryptic caption there. A live stream titled, "Let me set the record straight." And before anyone can blink, it becomes front-page gossip. She claims she is doing it for her son. For her grandson. For the truth. But if you really look closely, it feels like she is doing it for herself. Because without the chaos, who is Carlisa? For her, drama has become oxygen. The internet has become her stage. And the conflict? That's her spotlight. It gives her something that silence never could, a purpose. But then she went too far. When Carlisa accused Chrisean of being responsible for little Junior's developmental delays, everything exploded. People were furious. They said she had crossed the line from concerned grandmother to emotional arsonist. They said she was weaponizing a child's struggle just to hurt a woman she hates. But Carlisa didn't back down. She never backs down. She stood tall and said, "I know what I know. That girl is no good." And just like that, the internet split in two. Team Chrisean versus Team Carlisa, an online civil war with no rules and no mercy. Comments flooded every platform like bullets. Carlisa needs to stop. She's obsessed. No, she's the only one brave enough to tell the truth. It was not just gossip anymore, it was digital warfare. And every new accusation became another weapon. It is wild when you think about it, how something so private, so painful, can turn into public entertainment. For these two women, there is no line between real life and performance anymore. Every heartbreak becomes a headline. Every argument becomes content. Every tear is worth 1,000 comments. Their pain has been monetized. Their dysfunction has been branded. What was once real emotion has been packaged, posted, and replayed until it no longer even feels human. And now, here we are again, Chrisean's name trending for all the wrong reasons. The teenage boyfriend rumors refuse to die. The "he's 20" story is falling apart. People are digging up receipts, analyzing timestamps, pulling clips from old live streams like digital detectives. And somewhere in the middle of all that noise, Carlisa is laughing. Whispering to her followers, "I told y'all." But here's the real question no one seems to ask: when does it stop? When does someone, anyone, say, enough is enough? Because this is not just messy gossip. This is a cycle of destruction, two people locked in a toxic orbit, pulling everyone around them into their chaos. Blueface may be sitting behind bars, but his name never left the headlines, because the women in his life refused to let the flames die out. It is tragic when you think about it. A woman who could have been known for her talent, her hustle, her resilience, reduced to a meme, a scandal, a warning sign. And a mother who could have been remembered for her wisdom and strength, reduced to a bitter commentator, live streaming her pain to strangers. Two women, trapped in the same storm, each one trying to destroy the other, and destroying themselves in the process. And then came the post that made everyone pause. Carlisa wrote, "I'm at a loss for words and my condolences to his mother and family. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm grateful to God that my son is in jail, nowhere near any of this. Never put blame on anyone until they're proven guilty, because the Lord said not to bear false witness. Instead, pray about it and pray about everything, regardless of what your mind is telling you. God is able. Lord God, please help us all." Those words hit differently. They felt less like a statement, and more like a confession. A cry from a mother who's both relieved and broken. A woman who has seen too much, lost too much, and is now clinging to faith because that is all she has left. It is strange how pain and gratitude can coexist, how heartbreak and faith can live in the same sentence. Carlisa's message was a reminder that even the loudest people can be drowning in silence. But let's be honest, she did not stay silent for long. Because like clockwork, she was back at it, posting, ranting, exposing. That girl seems to wake up every morning with a mission: make sure Chrisean has a bad day. And she puts her back into it. Some say she is doing it out of love, that she is just trying to protect her grandson from the madness. Others say it is all about the attention, the spotlight that flares up every time she goes live. But when you look at the timing, the tone, the precision, it is hard to ignore how intentional it all feels. There's a rhythm to Carlisa's rage. A performance in her pain. Like she is conducting her own symphony of chaos, and the audience cannot look away. And of course, the internet eats it up. Every post becomes a headline. Every clapback becomes a thread. Every accusation becomes a TikTok recap with dramatic background music. Carlisa drags Chrisean again. Chrisean claps back with new receipts. Junior stays silent while the women in his life go to war. The same cycle, over and over. Pain. Reaction. Denial. Repeat. Fans do not even know who to root for anymore. Some defend Carlisa, calling her a mother trying to protect her family in the only way she knows how. Others beg her to stop, to realize that every post just deepens the wounds. But when has public opinion ever stopped a feud that went viral? Beneath all the chaos, there's something painfully human. This isn't just about gossip, it's about broken trust, motherhood, and survival. Carlisa has watched her son rise and fall in front of millions. She's watched his mistakes become memes. She's seen his heartbreaks turned into content. And that does something to a mother's mind. Now add Chrisean, a woman who grew up